A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I welcome you all in today's online session. Hope you all are fine and having good health. We start today's session with the verses of Holy Quran. So in last we discussed about the substitute products which we used to capture and monitor, control the prices, supply, demand of the market. So substitute good or product should be play a vital role in this scenario to fulfill our requirement for the economical aspect. Complementary goods. So the price and quantity demanded of complementary goods are directly proportional. If the price quantity demanded of one good rises, so will price and the quantity demanded of other are also be rise as well. The vice versa concept means that if you purchase a printer, the color cartridge or fillings, you can say, would also be out there. And it's a necessity thing which you already need this thing to fulfill the cartridge color as well for color printing and normal printing. So if the price of printer can be high of a particular product, then its filling can also be high as well. Cartridge, refilling of cartridge can also be increased by the particular increasing the price of good. So it's a basic terminology concept which emphasize and impact the society as a particular product as well. Now moving towards the shift in demand curve. So in this graph, you can see the price of a good of product from $5 onwards, $1. Initial quantity demanded, which is onwards, reciprocal impact from price of demanded, that is 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50, vice versa with 5, 4, 3, 2, and $1 respectively. But consequently, the new quantity demanded, which is parallel with this one, which is from onwards starting 30, 40, and increasing from as compared to this product to this one. The quantity supply also be reduced from this side, uh, 50 towards 10, and both the aspect can also be seen easily in these two straight lines of the graph of curve. This demand curve has shifted to the right. Quantity demanded is now higher at any given price. So it's an easy aspect. This is the shifting of graph from D1 towards D2, that the initial demand demanded by the society or the market, and the new demand would be shifted towards D1 to D2. It also be quite higher in price, and the your particular price, which is at point A, shifted towards A dash from 20 to 40 in quantity. Price from same price, but demand would be shifted from this side. So this is the observation which you can see in this slide. Equilibrium after a demand shifted. So equilibrium impact we also be observed in new demand shifted. So equilibrium point can also be shifted from 3 point to 4 point or 30 onwards, 40. So equilibrium after a demand curve shift. The shift in demand curve moves the market equilibrium from point A to point B, resulting in a higher price and higher quantity. So that should all that should already be seen from the equilibrium point, which lie in 3 onwards 30, quantity and price at point A, shifting towards Q2 or D1 towards D2, A to B, the quantity is shifting. So the changing in demand curve also be impact shift from its initial point to the another new point. Shift in supply curve That also be a vital aspect we need to study. A change in any quantity variable other than price that influences quantity supplied products, a shift in the supply curve, or a change in supply. Factors that shift the supply curve include change in input cost, increase in technology. So, if the technology aspect evolution increase, then the supply would also be increased. Change in size of the industry and the state of nature as well observed in this aspect. Okay, further after these perspects factors of changing in supply curve, shifting of supply curve, reflect by these 4 points. The shift in supply curve could also be seen here. The price which is starting onwards down direction, the quantity demanded would also be uh, vice versa and change. Initial quantity supply could be reduced from top to bottom, and the new quantity supply, which is 30, 20, 10, and onward, this one. So the shift in supply curve would be another aspect. Before that, we discussed the equilibrium aspect. So the given price quantity supply is now lower than before. So this one is the supply curve of one product particularly, and it's shifting onwards from point A towards point B, uh, relevant to the quantity from 40 towards 20, from point A to A dash. Then, but the price would be same. So that the same scenario which we already seen from the change in the supply curve that from 40-20 at the point 4 of price. So further after shift in the supply curve, moving towards the equilibrium after a supply shift, that equilibrium we need to study in this aspect, and that equilibrium after the shifting and supply curve also be moved from this one to point A towards point B, because the supply of the particular product shifting from S1 of product to S2 of product. The shift in the supply curve move the market equilibrium from point A to point B, resulting in a higher price and lower quantity. So that's the main aspect which we need to study, which we need to observe. So afterwards, we further continue the session with the application of demand and supply. So in this scenario, we have the numerical analysis aspect, numerical values, application, and prospect as well, in which we need to study the concept. Application of supply and demand concept. The cost of egg in 1990, which is we bought in dozens in rupees of 10. But the cost of particular eggs in same dozens we buy in 100 rupees. The certain change in that particular 26 years from 10 towards 100, the dozen value would also be shift. So supply and demand curve would also be observed, the consequences and the reasons of shifting will also be discussed out there. Same as that, the cost of mobile calls in 1990 was 300 per minute, but in 2016 that would be 0.60 per minute. It also vary with the packages, also with the company supplier of the communication as well. 0.60 is not realistic value of per minute call, but some kind of packages, some kind of uh, deals could also be provide the particular call which is least at the value of 0.60 per minute. The concept is very much challengeable because the evolution of technology in 1990 is not sufficient, is not up to mark, up to date as per the requirement of user. But the globalization would also be a big challenge for the society as well. Most of the people can call, but it should be affordable. If it's not be affordable, then no people can be reached out there. But after the evolution of technology, the evolution of technology from onwards 1G towards to 4G towards 5G, and in coming of the year, the 6G would also be working on 6G, but it coming of the year, 6G would also be sound in most of the country as well. China and Japan also working on its 6G technology. So supply and demand curve also be based on the priority reachable cost value, that the particular value is 300 per minute, but here it is 0.60 per minute. That's the main difference between the cost value, because the evolution of technology, globalization and sustainability as compared to the technology sustainability of the all over the aspect. So the scenario would be clear in all the people that the concept of application of supply and demand could also be changed on the nature, priority, future aspect, future technology, evolution of the technology, and also the traffic of people which follow onwards the new terminology as compared to the technology. So we further moving towards the next aspect of university BE degree. uh, Not specifically BS degree and other kind of bachelor's degree, master's degree, postgraduate study as well vary with this kind of things. In 1990, 10,000 students enroll in the particular degree. But in 2016, 8 lakhs of people, 8 lakhs of students have been enrolled in particular degree in 2016. So the commercial degree requirement is also the need of society, and people are attracted by the particular privileges and popularity and all the kind of feasibility facilities which people and students specifically and their parents as well see in the particular degree title. So most of the society, people, students are attracted onwards the particular degree. But now these days, the having said that, the particular demanding of the degree would be shifted onwards in another era. So this one is also the important aspect which people are very well known, the demand of society onwards. Application of supply and demand concept. A local grocery store ordered 200 cases of Pepsi each week and sells them at the price of $6 per case. At the end of first week, they have only sold 150 cases. What economic situation is the grocery store facing, and what will have to happen to price an order for equilibrium to be attained? So this we can say the price will fall to attain equilibrium. Further, the application of supply and demand concept, we need to study here that the following table give the daily supply and demand for chicken rolls at the supporting event. So particularly the price of that good is in $2.10, and consequently it is reducing one by one gradually because the quantity demanded is increasing day by day, subsequently in high rate. The quantity supplied could also be reduced. What is the equilibrium? The price chicken rolls. If the organizers of the supporting event decide to set the price at $1.80, that what would be the ratio, what will be the value of equilibrium at this particular situation, how many chicken rolls will be sold. So the solution of particular supply would also be out there. So suppose that keeping event in else constant demand as well. Now we further moving towards the cost aspect and cost. The concept of cost. There are following aspect we need to discuss related to the cost: fixed cost, variable cost, direct cost, indirect cost, and also related to the overhead and burden, recurring cost, non-recurring cost. So these are the lectures of Engineer Muhammad Hussain, assistant professor. He's promoted after lecture assistant professor and study leave of PhD program in Australia now these days. Further, in seventh, cost prospects are average fixed cost, average variable cost, total cost, average total cost, life cycle cost, marginal incremental cost, sunk cost, opportunity cost, investment capital cost, OM cost, operation and maintenance cost, which is stand for it, and disposal cost as well. So the concept which is starting from onwards, please read yourself. We further continue the session after a short break.